time I heard the song, I thought it was an international track, but no, it's by Timo ODV, a young, very talented South African who's in studio with us right here on the Mighty Metro FM. 11:14 is a Celebrity Wednesday on the front row with myself, Queen Bee, and he features Sarah Jackson on this one. It's titled Save Me, one of the biggest songs on SA Radio right now. So we thought, why the hell not? This is the home of SA Music, the home of fresh new talent. So we said, come through. Timo, lovely, lovely to meet you. I've seen you on TV. So when I got the email that Timo ODV was coming, I'm like, who the hell? And then you walked in, I'm like, oh, I know him. How are you?
I'm very good, and you?
Very well, thank you. Well, welcome to Metro FM. Thank you very much for coming through to the front row. I mean, did you get a reaction like I just gave you now about people thinking this song was by an international?
Yeah, all the time actually.
Yeah. Now let's talk about your history in music, right? All your songs are 100% written, produced, performed, sung by you.
Yeah.
Composed, mixed, mastered, the whole thing. And you're from Kempton Park. Now, let's start up with your history a little bit. Where were you born and how did you get into music?
Well, I was born in Kempton Park, and I think my whole life I liked music quite a lot, but I never knew how to go about producing it. So when I got to about 21, that's when I just decided I would just take the risk, you know?
Yeah. And 21, did you study music, or were you surrounded by music? Did you just listen to music?
I just listened to music, and then at 21, that's when I started producing a little bit, and then at 22, I started playing guitar and piano, and I started singing at about 22 and a half, 23, because I wasn't able to sing, so I just like worked really hard at it.
But when did you know that you really wanted, to kind of create a career out of it? Because fast forward to 2015, you now signed with Universal Music.
Yeah, I think it was just like a big risk, man, for like 4 years. Because I literally just sat in my room for like 4 years. I just gave up everything. Because I think I realized at one point, like, nothing really matters if you're not happy with what you're doing. So I was like, I'd rather like take a chance and become a hobo if I must.
You see, now, I love that you said you stayed at home in your room for 4 years. I know a lot of bedroom producers, and some of my cousins make music in their bedrooms. But how do you get the music out? How did you get Save Me out? Who was the first person you gave it to, or who heard it, who listened to it, who gave it to SA Radio?
Actually, I had been like sending demos to Universal for quite a while, and they like just kept on like. They weren't loving it, and then one day I sent a different song. I think it was called Flying, and they were like very excited about it. So they brought me in and asked me if I had any other songs. So I pulled out like a bag of like 10, 15 songs, just showed them because I obviously have hundreds of songs from in my room, and then they like saved me the most. So we went with that.
And with genres, musicians fascinate me. How do you know what genre you want to get into, or you just kind of create music and slowly kind of fall into the house?
I think it's very hard because you listen to a lot of stuff, so you get influenced a lot. At a time, like I went through different phases. Like first I was producing quite a lot of hip hop, and then I was acting like I was Calvin Harris, and then eventually I just went back to deep house where I started, because I feel like deep house has way more freedom. Like you can write like a full song in deep house. Like for example, like let's say Calvin Harris, it's like a little vocal and then back to the you know what I mean, like big rave music.
Okay.
Whereas deep house, you could have organic elements, you could have electronic elements, and you're way more free, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, just listening to you, you sound very, very musical. But do you remember the moment when Universal said we want to sign you? What was the first thing that came to your mind?
I'm not like the type of person that gets excited, so like I didn't really react for like 3 months.
Really?
Until like I had like the contracts, and even the contracts, I just like looked at the contracts for a while, and I think I'm more like the type of person that gets excited like once it happens. So once we when we put Save Me out, I was just like, I really wasn't expecting much from it, to be honest.
And then when you heard it on radio, any of your songs, when you heard Save Me on radio for the very first time, do you remember where you were? Because with special moments like that, I remember when I got my first TV gig, where I was, what I was wearing, what car I was in. I had to park the car next to the highway, yell, scream. Did you have the same reaction?
I was sitting in my lounge because my friend messaged me that they were going to just play it, and it won like the favorite of the week on 5 or something, and that was the first time I heard it, and I just like sat in the corner quietly and like shed a little tear. Like that was like literally like what I was just like so happy.
That is hectic.
Like it's like I thought for such a long time, if you have no success, you sort of in a way you almost lose hope.
Yeah.
So you're just trying so hard to like hold on.
Yeah.
And when something like that finally comes, you're just like.
It finally comes, but it doesn't just arrive. It's like
sure.
it was an explosion. I mean, this song, right? It was on it was number 1 on the Shazam SA chart. It was iTunes SA main chart number 3. 5FM and Trace Urban was number 1. It was number 1 in the SA Air Check charts. It was number 1 on the Airplay charts. It was the biggest selling track for April-May 2015 on iTunes South Africa. It was a single certified gold status, and just short of platinum, right?
Yeah.
And your video has over 470,000 views on Vivo, all right? SoundCloud, your 1-minute clip, more than 100,000 plays. DJsworks.com, 7 out of 10 average rating. 23, number 23 on the global charts. And now, I mean, it's getting international love from Norway,
Finally.
Switzerland, Poland, Turkey, India, France. How did they find it? How did they find you? Who heard it?
I think when the international comes, it's because of Universal. Because I think I was the first South African artist from Universal to actually have like a global rollout where they send that song to like all the labels, and then people get to choose if they think it will work in their countries.
Did you ever ask Universal why it took them so long? Why they didn't do it with the other musicians? I don't mean to shine on your shine, but your music is good. But it's like, oh, I'm the first? What about everybody else? I'm just asking because I would have loved to know had I been in your position.
I think it's just... I think it does have an international appeal, and it's following more international trends where, you know, I think other people are more South African vibes.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Remember when we opened the interview? The
sure.
first time I heard the song, I thought it was like, oh, maybe like Avicii or someone fabulous. But anyway, we're going to come back. I want to talk about, you know, your inspirations and also play another track from you called Find My Way. If you have any questions for Timo, you know where to find us. 089 110 3377 at Bonang_M on Twitter. It's 11:21. Right here on the home of South African music. It is the front row with myself, Queen Bee. Yeah, darling, if you have any questions for him, he is in studio. 089 110 3377. Now, Timo, you are a DJ as well, right?
Yeah.
And how many instruments do you play?
I think about 3, 4.
3, 4.
Piano, guitar, a little bit of drums, and then some random like instruments.
All right. So you sing, you DJ, you compose, you produce, you perform. Is there anybody? I'm trying to understand. When you learned all of this, did you? Obviously, you said you didn't study music, but are there people in your family who are as equally talented as you?
No. I learned like mostly all my things from YouTube and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's incredible. and who inspires you? I know you know you love deep house. You said there's a lot of more freedom in terms of that genre of music. But when you musically, who inspires you, and who would you love to work with both here at home and internationally?
I think like I get inspired by a lot of different music. So like Drake, The Weeknd, then Disclosure, Gorgon City. South Africa, I really love Black Coffee, man. I think like he's one of my heroes. I feel like he's such a person to look up to. Though.
Would you want to work with him one of these days?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to work with Black Coffee.
Yeah.
Black Motion. I think there's a lot of people that I want to work with, but like at this very moment, because like my brand is so like some people still don't know I'm from South Africa, but it's just like
that's a nice problem to have.
You know what I mean? It's like first just trying to like sort out my brand before I can like start.
Yeah. That's incredible. That's incredible. So, I mean, you say you've been at your house, in your room for 4 years, putting together all this music. When are you going to release it? You said January. Are you going to put together a body of work? Or are you going digital? Are you doing something different in terms of releasing every single one of your singles?
Yeah, I think I'll probably go for the EP vibes. So maybe 2-3 songs at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because international, I don't know if they really loving like albums that much as EPs and stuff, and obviously I'm trying to focus on international as well.
All right.
But I think I'll just have to. Next year, I didn't book as many gigs as I had this year, so I'm just gonna try focus on the music, try make as much as I can.
All right, Mbali, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you, Bona?
Very well, thank you. Timo is here. What do you want to say to him?
Hi, Timo. I've got 2 questions for you.
Yes.
Where does the name Timo ODV come from?
Timo is short for Timothy. So, like some people say Timo, otherwise you can say Timo. And then ODV is short for Oda Freeling. That's my surname. It's Dutch.
Oh, cool. And your sound sounds really European. So, where do you actually see yourself in the near future? Ibiza, Conchella?
I would love to see myself there, but we'll just have to see what Europe decides.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks a lot, eh?
All right,
thank
thanks, Mbali. Very lovely question, actually. So, when do you get time? Have you played club DJs? I mean, club gigs? Do you go? Can we book Timo ODV to come, for a set over New Year's Eve or something?
Yeah, for the past while, that's what I've been doing. Like
Okay.
I DJ and sing on my sets and stuff. But yeah, I think next year I want to take it up a notch. So next year I'm working on more of like a live aspect where it's not just DJing and singing, but maybe DJing and keyboard and
Yeah, I mean, I love that you said Black Motion because they do that very
Yeah,
well
yeah.
live with like drums and different elements and all of that. But Timo, thank you very much for coming through. I'm trying to figure. I'm just like, wow. Like he's actually South African. Like, it is so rare to find. It's this song, right? And let's take it back to the beach.
yeah.
Though all of your music and then that song has such an international appeal. When I heard that song, I'm like, this is
Yeah.
Shekinah. I can literally hear your songs on a soundtrack of an international movie. That is how good your stuff is.
Thank
But
you
what are
very
your dreams, your aspirations before you go? What would you have loved to achieve, with your career?
I think for me a dream is having probably a UK top 40 or Billboard top 100.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the ultimate for me.
But you're not going to leave us.
No, I'll never leave. Never leave you guys.
All right, and
I love
obviously
South Africa too much.
a collab here with Black Motion, a collab here with Black Coffee. Hopefully they're listening, and something cool happens. You're more than
Yeah, for
welcome to
sure.
come back here anytime. By the way,
Cool, thanks you very much.
fantastic. Where can we find you? You're on Twitter, Instagram,
Yeah, just Timo ODV or crossboard.
Timo
So,
ODV. All
yeah,
right,
so just
across the
every-
board.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Timo ODV, South Africa's. I mean, I'm gobsmacked, man. I really, really am gobsmacked.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot,
very
yeah.
much for coming through. Make sure you find him on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram if you do want to find out anything. And show him some love. It's 11:30. Time for the front row tickets.